Alright, so I want to open up this video with a quick little message. Even though this is an analysis of how Pokemon Bank works using a couple of potential cloning glitches, everything you see in this video, do not attempt this unless you know what you're doing or you're doing it for experimental reasons, as this does actually damage the games and make them unable to be read by Pokebank and can potentially even corrupt your game if done incorrectly. I went into this fully knowing the side effects of the potential glitch that I show off in this video, and I took full responsibility if anything went wrong. So do keep that in mind if you do want to do this. It will prevent the game from being read by Pokebank as a ratification of the side effects of what you see in this video. Therefore, it is a highly dangerous glitch. So do not attempt or proceed with highly caution on this one. This was looking at my analysis and hypotheses into why the Pokemon Transporter glitch occurs, which is a glitch that I have explored on my channel. If you do want to see how that works, it is a lot safer than what you see in this video, and it will not corrupt your game in any way unless you go off the beaten path and do things on your own. It will potentially cause destruction to your game, even losing Pokemon, as you actually see in this particular video. I actually go off the beaten path and do it a different way, and it actually does delete box 1. So yeah, basically the too long don't read of this video is, it's just me rambling and looking at some theories of mine behind how Pokemon Transporter interacts with the original games, Pokemon Gold, Pokemon Silver, and Pokemon Crystal. So there is a lot of rambling, indeed, but for those of you who are very interested behind the workings of Pokemon Bank and how the emulators for Generation 2 work, not so much Generation 1, so I couldn't get that side to work in this particular video, this will be very interesting to you guys. If you're not into that nerdy stuff, click away from the video. There is actually nothing of importance. And with that, enjoy my ramblings and enjoy potentially half my information being incorrect. As I said in the video, I'm not particularly well versed in the virtual console side of things, but if you do want to elaborate in the comment section below, or on any sites like Glitch Laboratories or Project Pokemon or anything like that, or if you are well versed in the inner workings of Generation 2 and Pokemon Bank, I actually would like to hear your thoughts down in the comment section below. And with that, this is your final warning again. Do not attempt these glitches seen in this video unless A, you know what you're doing, and B, you do not mind actually potentially corrupting your SRAM or memory in a way that Pokemon Bank will never read from that game again. As I said, in a way corrupting your game. So yeah, enjoy the video. Right, research report time. This is like my third time doing it because I keep forgetting to save my game after I've cleared out box 1. So normally when I do all these testing things, I'll clear out box 1 because that normally gets I guess underflow glitch in the process of any of this, because when Bank interacts with the Generation 2 games, Gold, Silver, or Crystal in this case, because whenever we do these particular clone glitches, it's actually taking a ghost Pokemon that doesn't actually exist in box 1, when it actually exists in the party, and then it like takes it out of there and creating like an underflow glitch. So box 1, I actually don't know if there's like any rectifications for doing this. But anyways, I was mucking around on Pokemon Silver with a hypothesis, and the hypothesis actually pulled off. But unfortunately, in the process of that, during my hypothesis, I actually didn't record or anything like that, and it turns out it's like a one-time use, because I can't seem to recreate it. So I'm doing it on Crystal, where I don't actually mind blowing up my game. So this can potentially not work, or it will work, and then if it does work, this could potentially blow a big hole as to why the Transporter clone glitch actually works the way that it does. It's not anything fancy, but rather a bit of an oversight in the creation of the emulator for Gold, Silver, and Crystal. I do believe it works a similar way for like Red, Blue, and Yellow, from my understanding. So what that basically means is, and by the way, this won't work in like mass scale as what the original glitch that I found does, but it's very similar and can almost, like, as it said, blow a hole into as to why this works. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to deposit a bell sprout, not save, by the way, and then I'm going to go home and then go straight into transporter. So boot that up, no saves whatsoever. I'm just going to load it up, and if this does work, what transporter will do is it'll read off the SRAM and think that Pokemon Crystal was saved, because the emulator does like a pseudo save for some reason. And if, as I said, if it works, the Pokemon will actually be in my transporter when, as you just saw, I never saved the game. So it was in box 1. Just go wait for Bank to do its thing, or Transporter to do its thing. It's very slow. Fingers crossed that this actually works, because otherwise, this would be amazing if it comes through. Suspense, come on! Come on, Osnet, you can work a little bit faster. What the hell? What's the Rattata doing there? I deleted them. I saved. Before I even started doing this research, I never... What? I'm so confused. I only had a Bellsprout in there. What the hell's going on? I am super confused now. I released those Rattata before I started recording this. I had an empty box. What's going on? I'm super confused. That's just blown everything. Like, what's going on? The SRAM must be so confused. What the hell? Okay, the Rattata don't make sense. The Bellsprout does, because I deposited that. But the problem is, though, that was already in my box on the previous save. Then I restarted the game. I'm so confused. I'm super duper confused. I should have checked my boxes before I did this. Alright, I'm gonna hit no to that just in case. Like, I'm gonna exit transporter and just see what's going on. Like, does the save file revert or something when you do that? Not silver, hold on. Not that one. We're doing it in crystal. I was doing it in silver originally, so that's why I booted up silver. This is super confusing. Why is Rattata there? Because I saved and rebooted the game, which technically would have counted as a load, so the SRAM should have overwritten by that point. What's going on? That's super confusing. So if this is right, Bellsprout's in my party. And there's 2 Rattata in box 1, even though I released them. What? No, that's not right. Hold on. No. Because the egg's in my party. Where'd these Rattata come from? It's almost like I did like a really weird clone glitch then. Like, that is super weird, like... No, that's weird. That's... All I did last time was... release these 2. Buy Rattata. Buy Rattata. And then... because I emptied that. And then after... I swear I saved. Or did I not save? Then I saved. Overwrit that. And then obviously rebooted the virtual console. So this recreates the SRAM. So the SRAM should have been overwritten when I saved the game. Access Bill's PC. Withdraw, nothing in there. Grab the Bellsprout, deposit that. Don't save. Hit the home button. Go back into transporter. Boot up transporter. Now, given that I saved, well, this time I know for a fact I've saved. I've recorded it this time. If I boot up Crystal, then what should happen is there should be only a Bellsprout there. Well, that's what happened last time. I mean, I didn't have anything on box 1 to begin with, but... this is weird. Where's the Rattata coming from? I'll know for a fact this time if I actually didn't save, but I swear I saved. Insert elevator music at this point. Okay, this time it only showed the Bellsprout, but the point still stands. There is something weird with the SRAM, to the point of you can just deposit a Pokemon, not save the game, and it pops up in bank. Sorry, the transporter bit, or bank, whatever, because you transport it to bank eventually. But the only problem with this method is I can't get it to work again. So you do an underflow glitch, but then you go to do it again, and it will not do it. So if you deposited, like, say a 5 Pokemon into box 1, and then exit the game without saving, go straight to the transporter, it thinks that you saved the game, when in honest to fact you watched me, I didn't do it. I'm gonna hit no to this because it then won't let me do another clone glitch. I mean, I can show it on screen where I will transport, grab the Pokemon, and then try to do the clone glitch again, but I can't get it to do it again. And then if you look back on here, as I said, like, the Bellsprout should definitely be in my party again because I didn't save. So it seems like Bank is actually reading from SRAM, not from the actual game's memory itself. So if you go withdraw, there's nothing in box 1, deposit, Bellsprout's in the party. I don't particularly want to get rid of the Bellsprout because I actually need that for my... Well, then again, I don't mind because I'll just delete the game anyway. So deposit the Pokemon, go home, transporter, and the problem is that I got no other Pokemon to... I should have kept the Rattata at this point, and then like tried to pull off the clone glitch again, but it just won't. Actually no, I should be able to because technically I've done a pseudo clone. I mean, I can try doing it again after this, but I'm pretty sure it won't let me because, as I said, that point, it's still reading back box 1 as if there is nothing in there because there's an underflow glitch. So technically there's -1 Pokemon once I pull this off. So connecting to bank server, I'm still kind of mad at myself. I actually shouldn't have done this on silver because I did actually start shiny hunting on that game. So box 1 could potentially be rooted at this point. I still don't know what happened with the Rattata because I swear I actually saved on that. Yeah, it's back there again. I did never save the game. So if we actually go transfer, send them over to bank, and then load up bank, move the Pokemon from box 1, sorry, the transport box over to box 1 in bank, which is where my first original test subject is, the shiny Bellsprout, and then try to pull off again with the same Bellsprout with an underflow glitch occurring on box 1. That won't work, but if we try it on box 2, I want to see if that works out of curiosity. So we need bank. I'll probably fast forward this part video editing because it's, you know, it's boring. It's just me grabbing a Pokemon out of transporter box and then putting it into a box 1 on transporter. Alright, so we just pulled off, just went through and just moved the Bellsprout from transporter box into the actual transporter itself, so now I can do another transport if needed. But the first things first, obviously, is there's the Bellsprout that we just transported. It's still in party, and the aftermath of that would be an underflow glitch in box 1, because technically we didn't actually transport anything out of the game. We just took it from SRAM, but there's a weird merging that goes on. It says there's 5 Pokemon in it, but that's actually an underflow glitch, so as I said, if we go withdraw, go down, nothing's really happening, so there's no like weird underflow glitch with, I guess, missing no Pokemon, which I've shown off before in one of my previous videos. A weird aftermath that happened there, which I could never explain. And if we do the same thing again, deposit the Bellsprout into box 1, quit without saving, go straight into transporter, because of that underflow glitch, I'm pretty sure it's going to prevent it from reading that said Bellsprout, so at this point box 1 is completely unreadable, and we should get transporter saying that there is no Pokemon available in box 1 of Crystal, which makes sense because, as I said, there's an underflow glitch and there should be nothing there because we are quitting without saving. Game thinks we have saved, but underflow glitch, I reckon, prevents it from reading that there is anything in the box. And we can't transport eggs either, so I can't use the egg as an example to try and get around the underflow glitch. Because if we did like another Pokemon it should come up with like a weird symbol instead, because my silver is actually reading like a stroke 5 out of 20. So yeah, there's no Pokemon to be found in box 1. As I said, I honestly should have seen that coming from right from the start, but for some odd reason I said I got a feeling that Transporter actually reads off SRAM and not the game's physical save data. So as I said, this one can't actually be abused in a big way compared to the other one. Because of like odd reasons, because the game thinks we have actually moved the Pokemon from whatever said box that we're changing to box 1. So it's like a weird pseudo-clone in a way, but in actual, like, it's so weird to explain. I can't actually explain this. This is really weird because I've read a lot of research articles saying that this shouldn't even be possible with the original clone glitch. And for those who don't know what the original clone glitch was, there was a video on my channel actually covering it. So if we actually move to box 2, I'm actually curious. I didn't try this. If we move it to box 2 and then do that, will it still read box 1? And then from there I can actually show off what the original glitch is that I'm referring to, that I discovered by absolute accidental chance. And this was kind of like just a way of seeing or trying to understand why that glitch actually happened. This is a complete impromptu. Like, I've never done a video like this before. It's so weird. Anyways, go back into Crystal and... Okay, in theory, it shouldn't read anything. In theory, but at this point, anything will blow my mind. Or actually, not even blow my mind, it actually doesn't even surprise me at this point. After seeing the huge potential glitch with the huge mass transporter clone glitch anyways, where it will take any box and then clone it so they're both on the virtual console and in bank at the same time. It's absolutely a new way of cloning. So yeah, it won't read as I thought. So it seems like it can only be done once. I don't know if you can grab like another Pokemon, say if you transport one Pokemon and transport 2 Pokemon, will the box read only 1 Pokemon at that point? So yeah, it seems like this particular method, it does blow open why the original clone glitch works. But you can't really abuse it in a way since it only works one time unless there's something I'm completely missing at this point. As I said, this one was just found by complete accident too, but I want to actually, because I haven't actually done this on Crystal, so since we're in box 2, so what happens if we do the exact same clone glitch that we do before, where we put the Bellsprout in box 2? See, the box 1 is just complete underflow mess at the moment. And as I don't really know if it does anything weird with your Pokemon if you deposit it in there. So if you put it in box 1, because the glitch goes like this. I'm going to save my game and just like overwrite the SRAM anyways. Do this. And I'm just curious, will it still work on Crystal? Because I actually have not tried it. So, just going by what we've learned with SRAM so far, when we do this, we go from box 1, which is what Transporter reads off of, go into box 2, reset the game. Now the SRAM thinks we're on box 2, even though we're still on box 1. And then if we go to Transporter, will it still read box 2? Transport from box 1? And if so, we now know that if this actually does go through, we now know that Transporter actually reads from the game's SRAM because of the way it's been built through the emulation and not the physical data. But it still has to take the data from somewhere, so it'll take it from the physical data of box 1, thus creating the underflow glitch in the counter, and therefore, as I said, creating like a far greater cloning glitch than the original in-game cloning glitch, where obviously everyone knows that glitch has been around since the very old days of the Game Boy Color. But this one, as I said, allows you to actually clone the Pokemon so they're both on Virtual Console and on Transporter at the same time. So originally when you do Transporter the original intended way, it takes the Pokemon from box 1, puts them on Transporter, you lose them on Virtual Console. But this particular cloning method not only clones the Pokemon so they're in Virtual Console, but they're also on bank at the same time. Okay, it didn't work. Because I still that's weird. Why didn't that work? That's super weird, because if I was to do it on... Unless... That's super weird. Because I pulled it off earlier. Unless there's something weird that first thing does. Where it completely screws over... Okay, I'll go into gold. Because I'll do it with gold. Because you can pull it off multiple times. I've got videos doing it too. Like, this is weird. Now, this is really weird, because this has blown everything that I've known out of, like, proportion. It's like, interesting. Like, extremely interesting. So if I do... What's in box 2 out of curiosity? What's in box 1 out of curiosity? A crocodile holding an item. We'll have a look at box 2 of my gold version. Again, I don't mind losing these because I don't think there's anything of importance on here except... Oh, maybe a shiny ditto. Okay, nothing of huge importance. What about my party? Because that's, at the moment, I've got 2 games I might need to overwrite. Ah, there's a shiny ditto in here. Huh. Alright, wouldn't be too hard to clone. So, I'm on box 2. Box 2, yes, so... Whoops, I want change box. So, hold on, we'll take note. Egg, which won't go through. Shuckle, I'm gonna actually withdraw the egg. Because eggs don't transport. So we got Chikorita, Togepi, and Shuckle. So if we change the box 1... This is the original cloning glitch, by the way. I know for a fact it works on gold and silver. I've never actually tried it properly on crystal, so I don't know if I actually screwed up my crystal's SRAM completely, or if it's just a side effect of doing the original glitch. So in box 1, change box, go into box 2. So keeping in mind those Pokemon that we saw in box 2. So what we did there was just went to change box, reset the game, then loaded up Transporter upon boot. And as I said, if it is correct that we are reading off SRAM, then box 2 contents will pop up instead of box 1, and box 1 only had a crocodile in there. So if all went dandy here, and I pulled it off correctly, we should see 3 Pokemon instead of 1. It was like a Togepi, a Chikorita, and a Ditto. God, the suspense with this bloody loading screen. Alright, so the Ditto I think was holding an item, the Chikorita was holding an item, but the point still remains. They were in box 2, which means, as I said, the game is actually reading off SRAM, because according to the SRAM, I would have changed the box 2, but on the physical game data, I'm still on box 1. So I should be showing box 1 data if I was actually using physical save data. But as I said, according to the SRAM of the game, which is the emulator save state, I'm on box 2. That's showing box 2 data instead of box 1. Thus, almost, I reckon, cracking why that glitch actually happens. And it also looks into how they've actually created Transporter to work, which is interesting in a way. And because I don't mind actually blowing up this game, I'm gonna hit yes. I actually don't have a stable game now on my Australian VCs anymore. My poor Crocodile is gonna suffer side effects, I reckon. That was in box 1. So if we transport these, they'll go through fine. They'll be like normal Pokemon. So, as I said, because of the side effects of reading the SRAM, the physical data will suffer underflow. Because there was a Pokemon in there, I know for a fact that side effects actually happen if you do it this particular way. So if you are following this, don't do it with a Pokemon in box 1. Never do it with a Pokemon in box 1. I actually want to see what the side effects are personally. Because, as I said, you're taking data from box 1, and there was 1 Pokemon in box 1. Normally you do it with an empty box 1, so therefore you're not corrupting any data. But I'm curious to see what actually happens if you do it that way. It's gone! It deleted my Crocodile! Oh my, yeah, I knew that was gonna happen, but it actually didn't do anything weird. So it just deleted the Pokemon, so... If we go change box, yeah, the Pokemon is still there. It says 3 Pokemon. There was a Ditto, Chikorita, and Shuckle, and the only ones that transported were... Sorry, there was a Togepi and a Shuckle, and the Chikorita and Ditto, I do believe. I'm sorry, a Chikorita, which was holding an item, so therefore it couldn't transport. There's the 2 of them there, they're in box 2. So, I think that blows the original question out of the water. What is causing the mass transporter glitch that I showed off in the original video? The cause for it is because transporter works off SRAM, not physical data. But it has to take something from somewhere, it can't take it from the SRAM, so it's got to take it from the physical data, thus creating the underflow glitch for box 1 or something like that. Someone's going to come up with a better explanation than me. But that's a big leap. Like, I don't know if people were saying it actually reads from physical data, but now, according to this, it's reading off SRAM. To why I can't pull off the glitch again once I've done the original, deposit the Pokemon, not save the game, then go into transporter, transport the Pokemon. For some odd reason, it screws up the SRAM completely. That's gonna be fun, by the way, when I actually do my Pokemon. I'm gonna have to train them off that game now. No, that's interesting. That's completely interesting. So, use this information to your will. See, there was an underflow glitch on box 1 because, as I said, Bank has to take it from somewhere. Oh wow, that's massive. I don't know if that's big news or not. But yeah, the transporter actually reads from SRAM, not physical data. So that explains so much. I'm still curious to see though what happens now if you do the original, deposit the Pokemon, go straight into transporter without saving your game, and see what happens as ramifications. Like, can you actually still transport Pokemon from box 1, or is the SRAM completely screwed for said box? If anyone knows these questions, I am so curious to see what your answers are, or what your hypotheses are, your theories, or what the research shows. So this is like an extension onto my original glitch. Oh my goodness, so that means... That technically means the only way they can actually patch this glitch is to make it so Bank reads from the physical data, not the SRAM for Generation 2. That's incredible. I wonder if that happens with Gen 1. I'm curious, does that actually happen with Gen 1? Because it reads off box 1. I'm curious. I mean, I'm gonna leave it. Oh, bugger, I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna see what happens. I don't know if I got a Generation 1 game I can use, though. Yellow, maybe? This is very, like, this is now going into, like, unplanned. Completely unplanned, actually. Because if the SRAM works the same way in Generation 1, I'm pretty sure they remodeled Gen 1 to work on Gen 2 as well. Yeah, this is my actual game. What have I got in box 1? I mean, it may not work the same way, but I'm just curious. I have a full game, so I got, like, no way of actually seeing. I'm gonna put Pokemon in box 2. Deposit. We'll put Zapdos, Articuno, and Moltres into box 2. The problem is though, these don't work the exact same way in method that Gold and Silver does. So that's my only concern is, if anything, I think I might actually blow the game up. Woohoo! If it does. Because it saves as soon as you go. I don't think that worked, but just out of curiosity. Just huge out of curiosity, because it technically is saving there. I've actually never done this before with Generation 1. This could go either very, very well or very, very bad. I don't even know what is in box 1. So I can't go off like a hey, we're putting these in box 2, but we'll just have a look anyways. I'm just curious, just like, if the SRAM works the same way in Gen 1. If we interrupt the save. Because if I'm correct, which as I said I don't know, this is complete hypotheses here. Complete hypotheses. I don't even know if I'm correct here. Because I actually don't know the inner workings of Gen 1. At least one, for peak's sakes. Let's go get that Pokemon. I knew I should have done that. I don't know if I've now screwed up Gen 1 or that's the case. Good job, me. Again, I'm gonna fast forward this. Alright, so we finally moved them out of transporter box. So this will actually tell me if it actually did swap to box 2 or not. Because that's the only thing I've never attempted to do anything like this on Generation 1. So, complete hypotheses. If it's worked, then I should be on box 1 still. If it didn't work and it's just swapped me straight over to box 2, then I'll be in box 2. But it doesn't look like I've gone into box 2. I'm still in box 1. So I didn't swap, and the 3 birds are still in box 2. Alright, that's good to know. So there was only Clefairy in box 1, we got to see that at least. And if it is going off SRAM, then SRAM would believe, because I disrupted the save, I think I got it this time. It's hard to tell because I've got no audio cues because I've muted my DS so I can record. And there's an easy way to tell. I can just load back up yellow and just have a look at it afterwards. So if a Clefairy pops up, then I've either buggered something up, but we can easily investigate afterwards. Because if I did disrupt it at the right time, then the SRAM would believe that I'm in box 2. If Generation 1 works that way, that is. And Bank would pick up box 2 instead of box 1, which would be the 3 birds. Nah, it still says box 1. Let's have a look to see if I'm in box 2 or if I'm box 1, because I didn't actually do it as quick as I did before. But as I said, this is a hypothesis. I don't know the inner workings of Generation 1 as well as Generation 2, because the box method for changing is actually different in Generation 2 compared to Generation 1. But, as I said, since it is almost looks like it's confirmed that transporter works off SRAM. It's not to say that if you understand the SRAM for Generation 1, you can actually abuse it to try and clone. And it looks like where am I? I'm still in box 1. So the SRAM mustn't work that same way in Generation 1. Alright, so fair enough, fair play. But if someone does know the inner workings of SRAM for Generation 1 and wants to try it out, just putting it on box 1 or something like that, or just a way of cloning it so it still remains on Generation 1 but still goes to transport at the same time, I'd actually would like to find out those findings. But that's basically it, so ignore the Generation 1 part. But what we've learnt so far from this is Bank works off SRAM and doesn't work off physical copy. Depositing a Pokemon, quitting the game, going straight into Transporter, will in fact clone a Pokemon. Can't use it a second time though, so it's a once-off clone. It seems to affect the SRAM in general for Generation 2. And the reason why the mass transporter clone glitch works, where a Pokemon remains on Virtual Console but also gets transported to Bank, thus creating a pseudo-clone or a clone method, an alternative clone method if that, works because the SRAM thinking it's gone to box 2 when the physical data in the actual game is still on box 1, and thus creating the underflow glitch because Bank will take the physical game data and modify that instead. Very confusing stuff, but if anyone can actually figure anything out from that, I am quite happy from that. So, use this information at will. I'm done. As I said, I don't even know how this sounds. I've never done anything like this before in my life. Hope you guys enjoyed it and learned something new. And until next video, this is Lady KrimZen saying ciao for now, but not forever. Ciao!